Hey there, it's Dave Duford from Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com, and today we're going to handle a question a lot of people ask about the final expense business and ask, hey, is final expense a good career to even be involved with? So what I'm going to talk about today is kind of my perspective on that. I'm going to give you the different scenarios where it's good, where it's not so good, kind of let you decide if it's right for you. So there's a couple things you have to take into consideration here, okay? You've got the fact that this is a sales position, and to figure out if sales is really right for you or not. Secondly, you got to determine is final expense right for you or not. So you know the facts about determining if it's or not. And then number three, you got to determine, is your situation that you're being presented, the offer you're being presented, right for you too? All three of those things matter, and hopefully in this video we'll cover all of that in decent enough detail so you know exactly what you need to do in order to make that determination. So first, let's cover the realities of sales. I always quote a great agent who has made a big impact in my life. John always has said that final expense is easy, but it's not simple. And largely because of the sales aspect of this job. Sales is a unique, completely different skill set than probably anything else that one has ever done, especially if you've never done sales before. Salesmen know what I mean. The aspect of sales looks easy on the outside, but it's truly an emotional job with you being your worst enemy. You have rejection you have to deal with. You have the hard work of seeing a lot of people and trying to persuade somebody to buy from you. There's a lot of things that happen in sales that make it totally different than sitting in front of a desk shuffling paper all day. On top of the fact that sales in general is commission only, as is final expense. And so, you know, before you get involved in final expense, you have to be comfortable with the understanding that you wake up every morning unemployed. Meaning that you have to get out there and you have to make things happen. That's what the nobility of salespeople have, is they make something out of nothing where nothing existed prior to that. And that's why it pays so well, because there's always uncertainty that the next morning you don't know what's going to happen. You don't have a wage to depend on. You have to make things happen. So, you know, some people, they cringe at that. This isn't for you if that's you. Now, other people, they thrive on that, where they're in control. You know, with freedom comes the responsibility, as the phrase goes, and certainly the truth for sales. You know, you have the freedom to do as you please and make the money you want, but you better hustle. You better work to make that happen. And that's definitely the case in sales. And you got to determine if that's okay with you. You know, so if you come off of a wage earning job and you've never worked commission, it's going to be night and day for you. It's going to take some getting used to and learning that it all rests upon you to perform and do it consistently. So the second situation is, well, is final expense a good business model for you? So final expense, you're dealing with what I call your Joe Six-Packs of the world. People 50 and older. It's a huge market of mostly people on a fixed income. The masses of people who are retired on Social Security, retired due to a disability on the job, or who are still working but most likely are working on a factory line or a menial job. So you have to be good with people, okay? And you've got to accept that the final expense business is not a white-collar profession. You're going to be dealing with people who I would call are salt of the earth. You know, many times you're going to deal with people who live in senior high-rises. You're going to deal with people who live in single-wide trailers. A lot of the times they're hoarders. They got a lot of junk around. They've got dogs. They smoke incessantly, and so you're going to smell like a smokestack at the end of the day. They're going to be, in many respects, irresponsible type of people. Not always, but a lot of them will question your faith in humanity. So you've got to be prepared to accept that these people are going to be probably different from you. But you have to, in the same breath, appreciate their simplicity, because of how they look at life and how they deal with things. And you just got to be able to relate to a person who's on that level. Not to think that you're above that, but people are surprised when they come into this business that a lot of people think differently than what they're used to. So, you know, a lot of people that succeed in this business, you know, have an appreciation for Joe Average. They actually don't like working with people who are, wealthier beyond belief or trust fund babies. And so, if you like basic people, final expense is a great field to be involved in. And you're going to meet very simple people, but, honest, genuine people, and mixed in with a little craziness, and makes it an interesting profession. So, if you don't like that, if you want to deal with white collar workers or, people who are middle income even, you're not going to find that here. You're going to deal with a whole different subset of people that most people never talk to or realize are even out there. Situation number 3 that you need to make sure of with choosing if the final expense business for you is a good career is you need to make sure that the opportunity presented to you is actually the best for the situation that you're in. So let me explain. You can like the idea of selling and understand the selling process and be okay with the ups and the downs. You can like the idea of working with blue collar types of people and the simplicity of the business and kind of what you would anticipate in final expense. But if you're set up in the worst agency situation, you will fail. You will probably flunk out in a situation that's not optimized for you. So this is the most crucial part of the step if you've got number 1 and number 2 situated and filed away. You like everything about final expense. You need to make sure who you work with does a couple things. They know what they're talking about. They have experiential experience in the field. Number 2, they actually have a system that's duplicatable and a sales and marketing process that you understand and can believe and commit to. And that number 3, there's a long-term process for you to be successful in a career. A lot of people in this business, this is what I hate about this business, they're sold a bill of goods and they flunk out way in advance of them actually being able to achieve a success because they just have the wrong manager, they have the wrong system, they're paying too much for their leads, or they're getting too poor of a commission level, and it's all set up that way specifically to screw the agent over at the behest of the manager to make the most off of them. So for me, it's very important that, I am a believer in my business that final expense training and having a system to duplicate and having support from somebody who understands the final expense business, not from a desk, but in the field, in the trenches, makes all the difference in this business. You need to find somebody who you get along with, that you like, that you can connect with, and has all of that stuff and knows how to effectively communicate it and translate it to you so that you get the value out of it that translates into more sales, more commissions, and a more successful career. You got to find somebody that can do that, and it is the most critical part of finding out if this business is right for you, is making sure you work with the right kind of mentor. That's why I do Final Expense Agent Mentor. Training is the most important aspect of this business to me, and having somebody that will teach you the ropes is so important, and just as important, show you how to duplicate the process so you can experience the same kind of success as well, as long as you'll hump it and work hard to make it happen. So my name is David Duford from Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. Please check out my videos. I got so many to check out that are so important for you to learn from. Check out my website at feagentmentor.com. Lots of articles and videos as well. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for listening. Take care.